Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the number 6 ink profile in this series, Chris's Choice series. Today's going to be Monteverde Rose Noir. And this is a very beautiful ink. Ink has surprised me all the way around. We'll have to dive right into it, I think, in order for me to explain that. But to me, the way that I would describe it would be kind of a dusty purple. You know, like we've heard that before with pinks or, dusty rose, something like that. But it's gorgeous. So let's get right started here. The first thing I want to do, of course, is put it in the bath test so that can be working. So there's that. And then, oh wow, that's a surprise to me. Wait till you see how it behaved on the watercolor paper. But okay, and then a follow-up to the last video. The last color was J. Arbonne Violet Pensy, and you can see the bath test. You can actually read this, even through the camera lens and everything, that it stayed on here, but it changed the color significantly. So, but you would be able to read what fell in your water if that happened to you. So, there's that little follow-up. Now, let's, wow, we'll just let that work, but that's a big surprise to me. Let's dive right in here, and I'll show you where we're at. It's the number 6 ink, so our little page is filling right up. Just 2 more to go on this series. So we'll go right over to the page where I really got to look at it. Whoops, went too far. Okay, here we are, right here. This was actually during the 30 Inks 30 Days challenge. This ink was inspired by @Nib and Flourishes on Instagram, and it was just so beautiful. I couldn't stand it. I had to order a sample, even though I have enough samples here to outfit my entire community, I think. But anyway, I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. But look at that shading on the Tomoe River sample. It's just incredible. It acts differently on different paper, and we're going to see that quite a bit when we get into the watercolor paper especially. But it's available in the 30 ml bottle for $8 at Goulet Pens. And you can also get a 2 ml sample. And I always recommend a sample, no matter how good it looks, you know, on my paper or someone's video. Or, you know, I really encourage you to get a sample if you can. And this one, this is all written with the standard pen I've been using, my Serendipity with a broad nib. And my first impressions are just over the moon. Oh my goodness. I went wild when I saw what it looked like on the page, because it doesn't dry lighter. It dries very true to what you see, and it's really nice. It's maybe appearing slightly darker through this camera, but not much. I've got a little bit of a issue today with lighting, actually. But I'm hoping since this is true to life, I'm going to try to get the video done while I have enough to show you, what's going on here. It's very unique in my ink sample collection too, and I'm really in love with this. This has gone on my wish list for a small bottle because really, oh my goodness, it doesn't compare to anything. So that's the first thing I noticed. It really doesn't. So let's dive right into the Cafe Note. Whoops, there went my little paper, but that's okay. This is the Cafe Note journal by Nanami Paper Company, 7mm rule, and I'm loving this. Let's get in here and see how it looked, and it's really pretty. Okay, I've got a lot of natural light coming in. My other light seems to be failing, but so you're seeing pretty much what I'm seeing. It's just a really nice kind of a, like I said, dusty purple kind of color. Really pretty. And things are going well. I'm working out quite a few little issues, but new things and new projects, like, eating differently, are always exciting at first, and then comes the daily grind. So it's just a matter of consistency and stick-to-itiveness now, I think, and learning new recipes so it won't get totally boring. But there's that. Now, we'll try to go quickly through these because a lot of repetition here, but this is the little envelope, the Ampad security envelope that we're almost finished with, and we can do a dunking contest there and see what inks survive. A lot of feathering, and we would expect that with this ink, with all the inks, because it's not a fountain pen paper. But everything else is is pretty good for fountain pen paper. Like here's the Tomoe River 52 gram paper. That looks really nice on there. I feel really bad that it looks a little dark, darker than I'm seeing, but it's not by too much. So, and that is a broad nib. So here it is on Leuchtturm 1917 dot grid paper. Nice amount of shading, and it just looks really good. And we had no bleed through at all. This one sometimes, you know, depends on the ink. Sometimes it'll bleed. And here we are on Clairefontaine 90 gram paper. Super, super duper paper, fountain pen paper. And I thought it looked good on there too. And I do see some shading. It's nice and dark, but it still looks pretty to me. Same thing on the Rhodia dot pad, really. Those two are very equivalent. There it is. Looked nice, I thought. Okay, and then let's see. I always like to compare. When we get to the CVS caliber paper, I like to show you that you are going to get a lighter version of it on here. See how much darker that looks? And that's what I'm seeing too. It is lighter on the CVS caliber paper, but it holds its own as far as you could still see the nice shade it's supposed to be, and it looks pretty. Okay, and the last one is the Office Depot College Ruled Notebook. I'm still working on that. Okay, there it is. I'll be looking for a replacement notebook, and a lot of viewers have given me some suggestions. But I'm not quite halfway yet, so I'm not in a nervous situation about my daily messy notebook. Let's turn that over. Okay, a little bit of shadowing, but nothing that really looks like bleed through, so that's good. Okay, now let's dive into the comparisons, which we'll start here with the small little panel I made. And isn't that astounding? Here it is, Monteverde Rose Noir. Oops, kind of crooked. What it did when water hit it, it did different things whenever the paint or the ink goes down first, in this case, and then I dab it with water with a paintbrush. And you just saw me do that if you watched my latest ink flight box video, so you know the process is pretty simple. I just dab the paint on, let it dry a little bit, and then go ahead and add water. But you can see lavender and pink and edging. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I can imagine that people that do art would really be interested in this ink. I am, and I just dabble. I'm a wannabe artist, and I do it more for like a therapy, art therapy kind of, just makes, it's fun, you know, and it helps, it helps, it really does, because I tend to be a perfectionist, but when you get around paints and stuff, that just doesn't fly, so it helps me kind of release some of that. But I really couldn't, these were the closest, really, the Mont Blanc Lavender Purple was the closest I had to this ink. And then we're going to pull down some more panels so that we can see kind of how at home it is next to some of the other color families. Let's see here. Okay, that's, as you can see, that's still working, but you could still read it. So I'm going to push that aside so we can really have room for our panels. But yeah, the Platinum Lavender Black didn't move around as much, but it did pick up that nice pink, like a little bit brighter pink color there. So let's pull down this was a purple panel that we did not too long ago. Let's see if I can get that where you can see the whole thing. And there's a little bit of repetition there in terms of gosh, you know, it's funny too, the Mont Blanc Lavender Purple, it does do differently at different times. This looks a little darker to me. See that? It's the same ink, but it looks a little darker on this panel. So that's why I say always get a sample. Never just go by the first thing you see. But it's not quite in this color family, and yet it looks compatible. There's the Krishna Anakai. I like that up against it, but you're not getting close at all with hardly anything else. This is the Diamine Purple Pizzazz that's out there pretty far. But I still wanted to show you because to me, that's how I kind of stabilize and realize, well, where are we at color-wise? So let me grab, now this one had some darker purples and a little bit of everything. It went from darker to brighter. Let's see. So there's that Bunga Box Lamont that I like so much. And, you know, you just can't quite compare it, but certainly that's interesting to look at it side by side. And then, of course, your brighter Monteverde Purple Rain, but that's the same ink maker. And I see a lot of pink coming out and lavender, so that it has that in common, kind of. But it just was interesting to me, trying to figure out, oh my goodness, you know, where does this fall? So then I got out the magentas, you know, that panel that we did back when we were doing Rohr and Klinger Sulfurino, I guess. I'm not sure. I guess I once knew how to say it. And, you know, the base colors come out, and you see, and there's Diatramentus dianthus. I'm not sure if I said that right. So, you know, it kind of like, it's kind of homeless if you get right down to it, in my opinion. Okay, and there's Sitzkreuznock Dark Orchid. I thought that was interesting. We're not getting the comparison in the color to color, but in what comes out, I thought that was really interesting. And then Monteverde Purple Rain, which probably, yeah, that shows up on both panels. I don't know. I really had fun with this, but I wasn't finding a whole lot of similarity. So being that unique, I thought, oh, surely my pen allowance will allow for a little bottle of that, because that is just, it's gorgeous. But I'm going to enjoy the ink sample, every last drop of that first. And that'll go kind of on a long-term waiting list, or, you know. But I just, gosh, you see blue? I'm going to hold that up really good, because right now you're seeing just about exactly what I'm seeing. It's very, very close, because my overhead light's failing, and even though it has been recharged, and my window light is giving nice, soft, natural light without too much sun glare. So, but I see a lot of blue and pink and lavender. And next we're going to look at what happened when I put it down onto water. And that was really interesting. I mean, it stunned me. It surprised me, because I just expected more different things would happen. But here it is. And it had to be really encouraged to move around at all. That's the only way I can describe it. I put down the water the same way I have with all the others. And just to compare, you know. I mean, you can't really, and that's upside down. I'm still learning that I need to figure out which direction I'm going to do these things in. This was the J. Arbonne Violet Pensy. And that was totally opposite. As soon as I put a drop down, it went all over without hardly any tilting of the page or anything, if that makes sense to you. But here, I didn't think it was going to move around at all. I thought, oh dear, I don't think anything's going to really happen. And there was a lot of water there. So I did kind of encourage it, and eventually it went. But I thought, what's going to happen? And it looked really dark until it dried completely. Of course, that's typical. That I need to remember that it's all going to settle down and dry. And then over here, I guess I used less ink. I thought, well, you know, it didn't do a whole lot. Let's just do a smaller drop up here in the corner. But you can see the blue and the pink for sure. The pink is everywhere in this. It actually, to me, seems like kind of like chromatography in a way. It's got light blue, and it's got these darker blues, blue almost purple in there. So it was fun, but it was surprising. And I think that's what's probably going to happen. I'm going to be surprised quite often. Oh, I guess I just did that. Yeah, that was just me. I had been pretty consistent for a while. Some of these older ones, and I know this isn't what we're doing right now, but I tried to be consistent about getting things going the right way. But anyway, that was, oh dear, hope I'm not making you dizzy. That was really interesting, and it just really, really interesting. Oh, and I want to do a quick update while I'm thinking about it, about the paper. This is the old one, and the new one's out of reach, but I did bring the receipt over. I got to thinking after I showed the paper yesterday, and I thought, I bought this so long ago, I couldn't remember where I bought it even. And I thought, I wonder why I wasn't finding this at Hobby Lobby, and I wasn't finding it anywhere. And so I stopped at Walmart today. And it's a good thing I did, because this is very inexpensive. And this is the paper I've been doing all of these beautiful panels on. And I've been stressing about running out, and I got that alternative one for $2. I showed it yesterday. This one, which I'm not as happy with. It's not the right size, so, but it won't go to waste in this house because the way I like to dabble. Anyway, it was $4.97 at Walmart in the United States. So I don't know what, you know, if the equivalent would be available elsewhere. But so now I have a brand new 30 sheet pad. So we are in business for these ink profiles, which I felt silly. I thought $5, and I was thinking it was 12 or something, and I was stressing thinking that's too much, and my poor pen allowance, you know, but no, I got it, and so we're all in business, and I don't have to worry about that. And it's a good thing to be prepared, because I have a special thank you also. I have a special thank you for 2 pen friends who have supplied me with more ink samples. My pen friends Sharon and Sue have sent me more samples, and some of these are Noodlers and Diatramentus, and there's a Birmingham in here, and let's see, quite a few Noodlers, which is cool. Monteverde, so all new to me samples, and us, because I'll share them with you. And then in this one, they're all Birmingham inks, which is such a coincidence, because I was so tempted to get their little sample box, but I already get the, they have it's called a pen parcel at Birmingham Inks, and I was tempted like crazy to kind of, you know, get that, but it's $10 a month, and I already get the ink flight, and I really enjoy that. And I thought, I've got so many ink samples that I definitely talked myself out of it for now. I mean, who knows about the future, but here come 10 ink samples from Birmingham pens. Thank you to both pen friends for this generous gift, and I will make sure that to share it with the audience here, with people watching the ink videos. So I'm excited about this. There was only one I had already. Andy Warhol Pop Art Purple was a very recent free with purchase, and that's the only one. Everything else is brand new to me. So I just wanted to say a thank you, because I've just, the pen people, pen friends are so generous, and it just happens all the time, and it's just so wonderful. And I do thank you so much. So I'll be having a good time swatching those too. But let's talk about what's next, because I've gotten a little long-winded here. Okay, next is Diamine Lavender. And interesting, at the surface level, that appears to be similar to Violet Pensy that we did yesterday, but yet you can see, I bet you can see, I can see that they're different, but they're similar. So it's always fun to discover. Now, we're on our last 2. These are it, because we started with Diamine Silver Fox, so it's these 2, and Lavender will be first, Diamine Lavender, and then Blackstone Barrister Violet. These were 2 that samples that I ordered from Anderson Pens after that challenge, 30 inks, 30 days. So, thank you for being here, and tell me what you think about this ink. I've buried my little... Tell me what you think about Monteverde Rose Noir. I think it's beautiful, and I love how it applies both to writing and to fun with watercolor, so to speak, with ink and art and everything. I'm equally happy with how it writes out of the nib and how it looks when you add water or you add it to water. It's just fun. So it's a very versatile ink, and I'm excited about it. So let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you for being here. Bye for now.